There's a quiet exodus happening. Young Africans, brilliant, trained, digitally armed, being exported like the newest raw materials. But this time it's not oil or cobalt, it's codes, it's talent, it's our future. Tech is the new passport, digital skills the new visa. But if every bootcamp, every certification, and every digital dream ends in another Zoom job for California, then who is really winning? Are we building Africa's digital empire, or just staffing someone else's? These and several other questions are what we are going to be asking and discussing today on The Beam. Take note, because you're going to learn something different when it comes to what is happening in the digital space. On that note, let me welcome you to The Beam, where curiosity stirs conversation, taking us a step further into the future we desire. Here we bring you the issues that matter, the voices that challenge, and the insights that inspire. I am Swinless Nathan, at the crossroads of innovation, identity, and ownership. Joining me right now are two women reshaping Africa's digital tomorrow. First, we have Damilola Anwuade. She's a techpreneur, ICT strategist, and managing partner of Sprouts Digital. She's trained over 4,000 young people and is a leader in the Women in Tech movement. Next, we have Emanuela Ivain Okafo. She's a Gen Z entrepreneur and founder of IVLA, if I get that right, IVLA EduTech. And she's bridging the digital and employment gap for youth and women across the continent. So today's episode, we are looking at ladies in tech, Africa, building its digital empire, or training a global workforce. Ladies, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
All right, let's dig deep in, because it's important that we speak to the ladies when it comes to tech. Let me begin with you, Damilola. There's this boom when it comes to remote work and boot camps, here and there, the springing here and there. Would you say we are building that sovereign capacity, or are we just exporting our best talents?
We're building. I'm going to be very straightforward. We're building. But right now, building looks a bit different. We're building in terms of trying to get the young people to understand their skill sets and how those skill sets connect to just the economy. It's no longer that we're looking at oil, like you said. We're not looking at gas. We're looking at human resources, and one of our biggest assets on the African continent are the young people. In Nigeria, we know what the numbers are. By 2050, we're expecting it to hit at least 1 billion young people on the continent. And so you can imagine what that looks like. Somebody that has all the energy in the world, under 35, and not having anything to do. So it might not look like we're building right now because most of those skills are being exported, but the truth is that they're exporting their skills, they're learning, they're growing capacity to be able to function not just abroad but back home. There's so many times when people have jackpot and left and they come back. And I actually predict that in the next few years, we're going to see not just that our young people have learned, they've grown digital skills, and they've had that work experience, not just of local but international, which is really what they need to have. If we look at it as we're exporting, I feel like we're going to be putting ourselves at disadvantage. Like when you were working for somebody in the past, when we first started after NYC, were you building capacity or were you just training out your skill sets? It looks to somebody from the outside, why is he slaving it out? Why are we working so hard? We're working for someone else. But the truth is, in that labor, you're learning one or two things that will help us on the continent as we move forward. So for every young person out there, I'll say you're building, continue to build, continue to look for those jobs, continue to gain the experience, and continue to grow your digital skills.
All right, staying with you, let's ask you the question then. What really is the future of work?
Wow. I'm excited when I think about the future of work. I've always been, and that's why I do a lot around, young people gaining skills. And the future of work for me is that there's going to be a lot of remote work, a lot of digital work. There's also going to be a lot of technology involved. You see how AI has been disruptive. There's going to be a lot of disruption. Like we haven't started with how disruptive it's going to be. AI is just, for me, the beginning of the entire thing. Remember when we used to have the typewriter? Has anybody seen a typewriter today? If you ask a Gen Z, have you seen a typewriter? Most of them probably haven't. They haven't seen a floppy disk. And, that kind of innovation is going to continue to happen. And because of AI, at rapid speed. And so for the future of work, it means that, yes, the technology is going to change a lot. It might change every two years, every one year, every 6 months. But it also means that we need to learn. we need to continue to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And if we're not able to do that as young people, even as anybody entering into the workspace, you're not going to be relevant. And so, you know, it's important that when you're thinking about the future of work, you're not thinking about it as, oh, it's going to be so disruptive, I'm not going to get a job, because that's not true. Some people learned to move from the typewriter to the computer.
Definitely.
Some people are learning from the computer moving into AI. And some people are going to look back and say, I don't have those skills, but those skills are teachable. And that means they're learnable. So, you know, the future of work means it's the future of learning as well.
I like how your answer ushers in the Gen Z. So let's bring Emanuela, who's there to teach a lot, and she's been teaching a lot of people, so she understands. So Emanuela, your platform is deeply rooted in building, you know, self-sufficient digital entrepreneurs. How do we ensure then that, you know, African youths are not just skilled, but they are builders of this tech ecosystem for themselves?
You know, in IVILA, we are training young people on how they can utilize AI and build in different spaces. So how we do it at IVILA is we are training exactly, we are using the right force on how we can train them on how they can utilize such opportunities by knowing the root cause of what young people really need. If you go online now, they have a lot of trainings going on. AI is everywhere. Everybody is into AI, but a lot of young people don't really know how to integrate AI. Yes, we know about ChatGPT, we know about Qbot, we know about AI, other AI, but when we started IVILA, we found out that lots of young people, they don't really know how AI works. So we try to teach them how you can learn AI very well and how you can integrate it in your business, in your studies, how you can, you know, build something for yourself. So we train people on how, what we are focused more is how you can utilize ChatGPT on building your business or developing a skill set for you so that you can be globally competitive.
Now, so beyond ChatGPT, the question for me would be, what are, like, maybe say 7 skills that somebody needs to acquire right now to remain very relevant, you know, for maybe in the next 20, 30 years?
Okay, so now they're saying, a lot of people, there is this controversy going on that AI is taking our jobs. People they are laying a lot of people off, but honestly, AI is not really taking our jobs if you really know how to integrate artificial intelligence in whatever you are doing, be it business, be it in your industry. Why I say so is because AI is here to stay. It's not going anywhere.
Definitely.
It's not going anywhere in 10 years. It's not going anywhere in 30 years. So it's either we learn AI now or we get left behind. So the people that are really integrating AI in their industry, in their workforce are doing well. And when it comes to skill, let me say the 7 skills that you can actually learn. Number 1 is prompt engineering. I keep saying it. Learn AI, because human intelligence stops and AI begins. So a lot of things, you have to learn prompt engineering. It helps to automate whatever you are doing. It helps to sit fast whatever you're doing. Another thing again is you have to learn digital marketing. When it comes to everybody now, if you go online, if you're scrolling on our social media, we see 1 or 2 businesses, people are selling. And most of people, young people, adult people, they're online, they are looking. So digital market is really booming now. Learn how to sell your business, learn how to brand yourself, learn how to come out there and put yourself out there. When I started IVILA, we pre-launched on TikTok. TikTok was our first launching pad. And when we launched, we gained over 100,000 tractions. People, we are really excited about our program. They want to learn, help me. I want to learn AI. I want to make money. I really want to. So you find out that people really need to learn marketing. If we did not really integrate that digital marketing, we are not going to gain the students that we have now. Another thing I'm going to say is about data analysis. We need AI. We need AI to be able to transmit big data. We actually need to learn about cybersecurity. We need to learn about the use of we need to learn about cybersecurity. We need to learn web development.
All right. We
need to integrate AI in digital entrepreneurship as well. We need.
I think you've given us quite enough. I'm hoping somebody's listening, and then somebody can really walk into those spaces. Yeah. Let's go back to Dami. One of those extra things we're going to talk from what she's talking about, the skills. Yeah. One of those questions that comes up every time AI comes in is the originality. So are we building as real innovators, or are we just regurgitating and copy and pasting? Is that what we're doing, you know, basically, or is there a balance? Where does it happen?
So I have to admit, I think a lot of people have to copy and pasting, and that's not really where we want to be. And we want to be at a point where people actually collect the information and they make it their own. And I liked what she was saying about the prompts. Because if you learn how to actually do the prompt engineering properly, you will get a different outcome. I remember we sent in an application we put out a JD for applications for a virtual assistant, and everybody, maybe like 97%.
Send the same ChatGPT
prompts. And so if you don't master even just the idea of how to properly prompt, you are going to have the same results, and you will not be. And of course, they don't get selected because they're all using the same prompt. But if you can have your own basic foundation when it comes to the information you should have your own knowledge. And it is that knowledge you use to specify how you prompt. And I'm sure if you sign up for one of the courses, you're going to get more information about this.
Right.
But you have to prompt differently. You're not supposed to be a copy and paste.
Right.
And so I feel like a lot of people just feel like it's okay to do the copy and paste, but it's not. And also there's some schools even outside of the country that are beginning to recognize that they want people to use ChatGPT, they want people to use AI tools, but they are asking you to make sure that that's your thoughts process is included in that. And you can tell the difference between somebody that was specific and intentional about how they're prompting to somebody that just went, you know what, I applied for this virtual assistant job, give me an CV that can match the job JD. And you know, that's really important. So yes, we are at a phase of copying and pasting, but it's also part of the learning process. People just need to also think differently as well. So do you know what? Yes, I learned how to use, I can copy and paste now. Now I want to do more. And the more you push yourself to doing more with the tools, you're going to get a better outcome.
All right, you want to add to that?
Yes. Prompt engineering, like as she said, a lot of people now, they are copying and pasting. But when you are original, you have your idea. Let it be like you want to write an essay or application, or you want to raise a fund, or you want to pitch your business. You first have to be original about whatever you want to include there. Like me now, I've been using AI for over 3 years or 2 years plus. I would say my ChatGPT really knows me very well. He knows my name. He knows whatever I'm doing. Like, he knows how we started building Ivula. So it has deep knowledge about me. So one of the best phrases I use for my ChatGPT is like...
ChatGPT?
Yeah. Utters me and write something, or utters me and do something like that. So he knows me. He knows my original story. Sometimes I'll first like to give it like a backstory of whatever, and
so it's learned over time.
Over time you've trained it.
Yes, I've trained it.
All right.
Really mastered me.
Okay, you're watching The Beam, a space where voices rise, truths emerge, and questions challenge power. Just stay with us. We'll be right back. There's more to unpack in this discussion. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. This is The Beam, and we are in conversation with two visionary women changing the face of Africa's tech future. Let's continue. Let's come back to school NASCAM. Or basically, should we just throw away the universities and just leave it to boot camps because tech is taking over the world? What do you think, Dami?
Why did you ask me this question? You know, it's a foundation. The universities they're necessary. There are lots of things you can't learn from a boot camp. There are lots of things that you also can't learn online. I feel like they just got stuck in a particular age and didn't evolve the way education is evolving, the way life is evolving. Let's unbox the university from a location. and open them up. I love this idea of open universities that has been going on for some years in Nigeria. I love the idea of online classes, online courses. I love the idea of the University of Coursera and all these other platforms that people use. But there are some people that would truly need the traditional systems, but the traditional systems also need to step out a little bit. There are some courses that you can't learn online. You can get an idea of it, but fully, like, can a medical doctor actually do the entire thing online?
No, it has to be practical.
You know, there has to be a practical, and so there's value in the systems, the traditional systems, but there's also value in the traditional systems and the modern systems coming together to redefine what education should look like. So
that's a very safe take. That's a very good take, actually. Let's come to you. Just a slight difference from what has just been said.
Okay.
I mean, that move from the universities to just do boot camps, just do online. People are saying, are Gen Zs really ready, you know, for entrepreneurship, for what real learning will entail in the future? And that's why I'm coming to you, especially because you work with the younger people, right? And so, in that sense, and you are within the same, that Gen Z sphere, what do you think? Are they really ready for that entrepreneurship that we are pushing, or that you are pushing, actually?
I would say we are born in era of digital. We are in a digital era, and now most of the Gen Z, our generation, they are more self-aware. They like to prioritize their mental health. They like to prioritize a good work environment. So that's why you see most of younger people, they divert and they prefer remote work. The reason why they prefer remote work is because it gives them an edge for them to relax and do whatever they want to do aside from work. But as she said, you cannot necessarily say that you are cutting off university and trying to learn only tech boot camps. Tech boot camps is really good, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's supposed to be personalized. It depends on someone's perspective, what they really want. Most of our young people now, what I would say is we need to have like a balanced approach, you know, collaboration with universities, integrating tech programs in their system, and younger people in university also encouraging lifelong learning. So it's not only the outdated traditional university route, you can actually learn more skills to be able to upgrade your certification. So I will say that two of them are really good. Some younger people now, they prefer, the reason why they prefer tech is because it's in months, you're done with your training, and it trains you for job-ready opportunities. And yeah, so it really helps.
All right. Okay, let's go to something that is more, would I say, sensitive. Basically, let's come to where the women come into tech. You know, there's this thing about people thinking that African women in tech should still be expected to be humble, soft-spoken, and grateful for the opportunities they are given. Damilola, let's come to you. What do you think? How do we face it out?
You know, I have to actually be honest here. A lot of things have changed from when I started off in tech. I'm seeing more women. I'm seeing more awareness. I'm seeing more conversations around women in tech. In fact, I remember going to one of the, and when we started off, we'll go to schools, and if you ask, you know, girls, what do you want to be? Very few of them would think about tech or any STEM-related field. Now, when we enter into a room and we're having those same conversations, at least 90% of them are telling you, yes, they want to work in tech, they want to work with STEM, in STEM field, science, technology, engineering, and math. So things have actually really shifted. And in terms of the awareness, in terms of even just the confidence of young girls, because I'm seeing more mentors go into schools and talk to young girls about technology. So would I say that, so things, I really want us to first put into perspective that it's not as bad
as it was,
and that a lot of work has been done, not just in Nigeria, but across the entire continent on getting more women in tech. The second one is, but do we still face discrimination? Do we still face all these workplace challenges? Absolutely. And when you talk about it from that angle, absolutely. I feel like for things to change in society, properly change, it's not a combination of women, it's a combination of women and men working together in a common goal and recognizing that it takes the two of us to stand on one issue to make it better. And I'm going to tell you this from my personal experience. I always say this every time I have an opportunity to. One of the people that encouraged me to play basketball, to go into tech, was my brother. It didn't come from a woman. I didn't have a woman around me that was in tech. It came from my brother. I've seen fathers come and drop their kids off at our tech boot camps. And it's fathers. I've seen brothers encourage their sisters to learn coding. So, that's that part of society that says you're not too big to do this. The discrimination ends when your brother is recognizing that the other woman in his office can literally be sister. And so just that perspective changing and shifting. I think also the men have gotten used to having us in the room. I feel like the challenges we're having now is having us at managerial position, having us sit on committees that affect the entire country in terms of technology. You still see that the ratio of women is still very low. You have less than 20, 30%, in some cases not even up to. So those things I would love to see change. But in terms of women wanting to get into tech, absolutely. I also think it's important that women don't have to feel like they need to work 10 times more. You should be able to, don't get validation, and I say this to the women listening to me, don't feel like you need to get validation from the amount of work you do. You already have validation that you finished that course and you're in that room, so, and a lot of times I feel like that's drive to want to work more, and they're now not recognizing that you've done it, you can do it, you've been doing it. And that validation is not going to come from anybody else. You need to be settled in yourself that you're here because you earned it, and it's okay, you deserve to be here.
All right, you're going to have a final word on that one,
okay.
So that we can close. Go ahead.
Okay, back to what she said. Only 18% of women hold managerial positions. The CEOs, the CTOs is only 18%. And if you check it, worldwide, is only 28% of women are in tech. Tech is a really male-dominated field. And if you check it from the research, they say that 75% of women in technology are planning to quit their jobs weekly. Yes, they are planning. So we really need to include women, like she said, in policy making, in managerial role, empower them, mentor them well, and also give them access to more opportunities. They have lots of talent here, but they need more opportunities. Women that own tech startup, they really don't have access to funding like that. So we really need to, include all these things. And if they include it, yes, we are going to go further because women had lots of potentials to, grow our economy.
All right, Dami, Lola, and Emanuela, I want to thank you for your clarity. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, yes. And as we wrap up today's powerful conversation, it's important that we note that Africa must be ready because the digital future is set. The question is, will it have our own fingerprints? That's all we can take on the beam. We're going to be leaving you right now with our top 5 videos of the week. I am Sunes Nathaniel, and as always, we encourage you to stay curious, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep beaming your light where it matters most. May this nation continue to rise and flourish. Bye for now. In 5th place this week, Nigerian lawyer and author Dele Farotimi threatens lawsuits over his arrest and detention. In 4th place, we have a discussion around the EFCC's arrest of online activist Very Dark Man and the Keke riders competing in Ondo State. Coming third this week is a clip in which President Bola Tinubu rallies citizens in Anambra State, saying, "We are all part of Nigeria." Coming second, popular comedian and celebrated actor Oke Bakassi speaks on what he aims to do with his new position as king of his community.
With an Oke Bakassi now as traditional ruler, a lot of people who are my fan base will naturally gravitate, towards what is this traditional rulership all about.
Our most viewed video this week is a clip in which a financial expert speaks on what banks should learn following the arrest of Very Dark Man by the EFCC.
When you do a wrong transfer, yes, once your bank is notified, they notify the other bank. But then there are also processes to it, because it is your word against the other customer's word. You have transferred money. Yes, you may have transferred wrongly. The other customer needs to be notified, because that person has to give consent before fund is sent back. And that is on the condition that the person has not utilized the fund. If the person has utilized the fund, then another journey starts from there.
That's it on our countdown today. Join us next week for more.